got the audio drowning in sin.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Gettin Cheezy with Van and Jeezy. I'm Van.
And I'm Jeezy.
Before we get the big stuff, before the important things happen in this episode,
Wait a minute. We have off-season big stuff?
This week, yes. There's actually something to talk about this week. But first, we have made it. We are on iHeartRadio.
Yay! Woo!
And we had some business cards made. Got them from Vistaprint. Thanks, Vistaprint. Still waiting for some sponsorship, but tweeted at Vistaprint. Got a reply back, so that's pretty cool, But if anybody wants to have some cards to hand out to their family and friends and coworkers, let us know. We'll send you some. That's all for the pre-episode announcement.
Now, here it is, the moment you've been waiting for. We have a special guest this week, longtime friend from high school of both, Van and Jeezy, listener of the show. We have RamJam joining us here from St. Louis. RamJam, thank you.
Thanks, guys, for having me. I'm excited to be here. Been listening since the beginning of your guys' existence.
Did you hear that? We got a Van and Jeezy OG over here.
I want to start by clearing the air here. Van?
What?
We both know RamJam, lifetime 49ers fan. I made a few comments over a few weeks saying that the Niners before the draft had a bunch of salary room, and you said, and I quote, "That's because they suck."
You've not misquoted me. Where are you going with this, Jeezy?
So RamJam is here to recap the 49ers free agency and draft and defend his team's honor against Van. RamJam, I'll let you take it from there.
Having listened to the show, I do remember that quote. We'll let bygones be bygones.
That quote happened a couple of times, and I will say the exact phrasing, too.
RamJam trying to be cordial here. Van just can't let it go.
Doubling down.
Oh my God.
I still can't get over it. The fumble catch in the 98 wild card playoffs.
What? Are you shitting me right now? That's 21 years ago.
Yeah, well, 8-year-old Van was sobbing.
I can tell you a very different scene in my house.
I feel like such a fair weather fan that I'm the one that doesn't vividly remember that at all.
It was before the days of instant replay.
It absolutely would have been called a fumble, and that probably would have sealed the deal.
It wasn't even close, dude. It wasn't even close.
I also remember the smirk on Jerry Rice's face when
little dickhead.
You talk about the greatest receiver of all time, but that not one of his greatest moments.
Speaking of Jerry Rice, how did you feel when he went to the Raiders?
I don't remember being that upset about it, actually. Maybe it was because I was too young, and I don't know, maybe I would have cared more if it happened like in my older age. I don't really remember being too upset about it at the time.
I'm looking up Jerry Rice's history right now. I didn't realize, A, that he was in the league for almost 20 years, and B, he was with the Raiders from 01 to 04, then Seattle for a year, and then he was on the practice squad for the Broncos in 05.
I definitely remember Oakland because he was on the Raiders when they went to the Super Bowl, but I definitely do not remember the one Seattle year at all.
I'm looking at Jerry Rice's Wikipedia page here. It says, in January 2015, Rice admitted to using Stickum. Stickum has been banned in the NFL since 1981, 4 years before he joined the league. And here's the quote from Jerry Rice saying it. "I know this might be a little illegal, guys, but he's put a little spray, a little stick-up on him to make sure the texture is a little sticky. Cheating ass."
Cheating ass, ball dropping ass motherfucker. Let's get ourselves back on track here, back to the 49ers offseason.
Yeah, so obviously last season didn't go the way anyone had hoped. Obviously Jimmy Garoppolo going down, but another big reason why the record was the way it was, they only forced 7 turnovers all of last year.
What was the 49ers record last year? I don't remember. 4-12?
They're 4-12. And 2 wins against the Raiders and the Lions. The only 2 meaningful wins was against Seattle late in the season overtime, which was definitely a step in the right direction, and against the Broncos the week before that. Otherwise, all around, not good football.
RamJam, I've got a stat pulled up here based on what you were talking about. San Francisco total takeaways, 7. That was worst in the NFL. Can you guess what the 31st ranked team, how many takeaways they had?
15.
15 it is. But this chart does a turnover differential. San Francisco by overwhelming was the last place again with 25 negative. 32 giveaways.
And that is how you only win 4 games.
That's very much how you only win 4 games.
It's just encouraging you won 4 games.
Like I said, the only meaningful wins, I would say, were Broncos and then the week after in Seattle. So obviously there's two needs that need to be met, in free agency and in the draft. I'm pretty happy with the moves that they made and the picks they had. The biggest one, I would say, Dee Ford.
I didn't realize he ended up with the Niners.
Yeah, I wanted him.
Very excited about that one. With him and then drafting Joey Bosa, that provides a much-needed upgrade to the pass rush.
Dee Ford was a proper Pro Bowl, right? Was he first-team Pro Bowl?
I wouldn't doubt it, the season he had.
Remember, he had that foot over that line, though.
That is a huge pickup, though. I was hoping he'd end up here in Green Bay.
Yeah.
A couple other signings on the offensive side of the ball. We picked Tevin Coleman. We brought in Jarrett McKinnon to the Vikings last year. He tore his ACL in training camp, so we haven't even got to see what he's going to do yet.
Yeah.
We'll see, see if they can put it all together. This is the third year of the Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch era, so I think they're definitely under a little more pressure to start performing.
I want to jump in here for a second. I looked up Dee Ford. He was a Pro Bowl selection 2018, and he also won the...
Had his foot over that line.
He also... Come on, Van, get the fuck out of here. He also won the Ed Block Courage Award, which is a team... I mean, this is the kind of thing, Van, that you're always harping on. It's voted for by their teammates who consider them role models of inspiration, sportsmanship, and courage.
He courageously stepped over that line.
Anyway, I think the 49ers will have a much better defense with him. It says he had 9 forced fumbles on his own last year.
That's 2 more.
RamJam, I will say, you made a good point, though. This is entering year 3 of the John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan era in San Francisco, and I feel like 2 years to install a program is about right. In year 3, it has to start paying dividends. So what would your expectation for the year be? Like, what would a successful year be to you? Is that a wild card berth? Is it just a winning record? What would a successful year in that system be to you?
I think at this point, I'm expecting them to, be competitive going in the last few weeks of the season, setting themselves up to get a wild card berth. I think that's a realistic expectation at this point. I'm cautiously optimistic. I think I was a little too overly optimistic last year.
I feel like the phrase cautiously optimistic is used by people who are saying, like, I want this to happen, but I know it's not going to. I'm cautiously optimistic that we'll have a wild card berth. Really means I really want to have a wild card berth, but I know we won't.
When I hear wild card berth, I hear 8-8, maybe 9-7. Is that the kind of season you're talking about here? I'm looking at the other teams in your division. You've got the Cardinals, Seattle, and the Rams.
You're not winning that division. I'm sorry.
That's why, I don't think it's realistic to say, we're going to win the division this year, because the Rams are who the Rams are. I mean,
yeah, they're stout.
When I say cautiously optimistic, I think it's more so just because I've seen what a running back that we had just signed and our new franchise quarterback, both of them tore the ACL like before week 5 of the season was even over. So I want to say the pieces that they put in place over the last 2+ years now, if those players stay healthy, I legitimately believe that we'll be contending at the very least for top wild card spot.
I think I can see it. I feel like you can definitely get some wins over the Cardinals, despite
that doesn't mean anything.
That's 2 wins. We're talking about a team that had 4 wins last year. You get 2 wins over the Cardinals. That's already half your production from last year. So to put a bow on it here about the Niners, what I'm hearing is you pick up Dee Ford, you pick up Bosa. I agree, the defense on that side looks good. On the other side of the ball, you get Jimmy G. I mean, I think just having Jimmy G back and healthy is going to be a big boon for that offense.
I still want to see what Jimmy G has done. He won 5 games that one year and then got hurt. And then what? It's the same thing as Patrick Mahomes. Go in hard.
Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here.
Don't have any basis for going in hard on.
Look, Jimmy G is good, but Patrick Mahomes is way better. Here we
go. Oh, my word. You need to get off the Patrick Mahomes kick.
I told you this already once. If I were building a team from scratch today, Patrick Mahomes would be on my team. He'd be one of my, he might be my first pick. The dude does stuff that I've not seen anyone do. Throw with his opposite hand, no-look passes. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Brett Favre did it.
I didn't say any player of any era. Brett Favre was fucking awesome to watch. Patrick Mahomes kind of reminds me of a slightly more athletic. Patrick Mahomes is way more athletic than Brett Favre.
Stop it.
All right, I'm going to stop there. It's enough. But look, you can't compare Jimmy G and Patrick Mahomes, okay? Jimmy G is good. He's fine. He's good.
How do we know? What's the sample size we're pulling from? How do we know?
Who, Jimmy G?
Yeah.
I mean, he looks better than a lot of these guys who have starting jobs anywhere.
Right.
I mean, I think that's enough.
But are you going to throw $200 million at him like you would a certain quarterback who also wears a red jersey?
Not me.
I'm going to use what I say against me. When you have the man, you pay the man. But with the sample size given, how do you know that the man truly is the man versus a flash-in-the-pan man?
Are we talking about Mahomes or Garoppolo here?
Both.
I can say confidently that Mahomes is not. Now, Jimmy Garoppolo, I would argue he's the man of right now.
You're saying Patrick Mahomes is Mr. Right and Jimmy G is Mr. Right now.
I mean, I would say that's right.
It's no secret that the Niners still have a lot of salary cap space open. So they saw enough in them to go, yep, we're going to pay the man. And this will be our guys. And we want him to know he's the man. Now go out there and prove yourself. I'm excited to see what he's going to do this year. I think he's going to have a good season.
I think we could put a bow on the Niners.
You had mentioned it earlier, Jeezy. Switching gears a little bit here. The three of us went to high school together, and this is a slight segue into the Packers section, so I don't know if you want to cheese your way over to it.
No. This is
Cheese Light.
This is Cheese Light. This is this is Diet Singles.
Diet Dr. Cheese.
Diet Dr. Cheese Singles.
Ew.
Individually wrapped.
It's stored in the dairy section, but it only is loosely defined as cheese.
That's right.
Again, we're all from the same high school, so this kind of hit home. The Green Bay Packers are donating $250,000 to a local park in our town to make a awesome synthetic turf football field with goalposts and seating. And I'm looking at this picture of it, and it's like, oh my word, targeted to be done in 2020. It's like, geez Louise, when I played on that thing when I was a kid playing Pee Wee, that shit had rocks and potholes, and you couldn't kick field goals because they didn't exist.
But we're talking about Racine, Wisconsin, baby. I got married there. We were all there. This is awesome. Thank you, Green Bay. Finally, Racine doing some good things with their taxpayer dollars.
I can't get over the fact. I'm sorry. I got to stop you there. Racine is going to squander this. I know it.
What?
I know it. What nice thing has come to Racine when they've taken care of it?
Well, they have that new water park thing. Have you seen that water park thing yet?
The one downtown the kids pee in?
No, that's the one that was squandered.
Oh,
I'm talking about the one that's on the other side of this same park, actually.
I have not seen it, though. I can assure you that kids probably pee in it.
Wait, RamJam, you said you saw it?
Late May and Racine, it was still about 40 degrees, maybe. So obviously it wasn't open. But, it looked impressive just driving by it. But once again, could have been full pee, not sure.
Could have been only pee, no water.
It probably is, dude. It's full of pee and needles.
What? It's perfectly fine. It's not the nicest, but it's definitely not the worst part of Racine.
There's that damn fucking pond there that geese used to live in, and they would come over to the football area and shit everywhere, so you're falling in goose shit, rocky potholes, and they try to set up 5 fields in the same 100 yards, and it didn't work. I don't know. It's behind the Target, too. That's not really a good area. It's Chuck E. Cheese and shit.
Chuck E. Cheese? Come on.
So it's on Ohio, right? It's on Ohio and 11, right?
Yeah, Durand Avenue.
So if you take 11 to 31, turn right on 31 to 20, there's a Denny's right there.
Not much of a reach there.
Racine's going to squander this. Thank you, Packers, for the $250,000. I do think it's great. I just hope Racine doesn't mismanage it. That's all.
You know what you sound like?
Crotchety old man.
Like a princess. Oh, thanks. I already have one of these, but...
No, we don't have one, but I don't want to fuck up the nice one. Give me a shittier one.
What?
This is too nice for my house. I can't have this. Also, in the image here, they haven't picked a sponsor yet, so the text in the end zones and that midfield says sponsor. Who do they dedicate the field to? Who's it going to be? Is it going to be the Jeezy RamJam Stadium?
Ooh, the first sponsor.
First sponsor. Oh, maybe we could be a sponsor. Finally.
Wait, we have to sponsor somebody else, or they're going to sponsor us?
I mean, how much could it cost? $100? $200?
It's Racine. We could probably just spray paint our names on there and no one would be able to tell any different.
We could also record a show there and basically be the sponsors then.
On the grand opening, you could record an episode there.
Can we parachute in onto the midfield?
Oh, shit. Our sponsorship dollars are running out fast.
We're at negative 500,000.
Yeah, any comments, though, RamJam, about the new field?
I think it's a really good thing. I never played football at Pritchard, but I did play some high school baseball there. But cool seeing something close to home like that, getting some props from the Packers organization. I think it's a great thing.
I think this $250K is just part of a larger thing where they're fixing the baseball stuff up. From what I understand, the football field is also supposed to be structured in such a way that it can be used for other activities.
It's a nice space where you can have festivals there, like a beer and wine festival, or any sort of thing like that.
Boy, you really want to trash that field right away, don't you? You want to have the people of Racine, Wisconsin, have a beer and wine festival and not ruin that field at the same time.
It's gonna end up with vomit chunks with all those little tire black things.
It's gonna be all mixed in. No amount of Resolve carpet cleaner will get that out.
Look, man, that's how you grow up to be a successful podcaster. You have to play in adverse conditions, everything you do.
We have to throw up on artificial turf. Is that what we have to do?
I didn't say we had to do that, but I'm not saying...
If that's what it takes to be a successful podcaster, I'll go throw up on some artificial turf right now.
I'm not even sure... I can't even rebut that because I don't even know what just was said.
Don't
say it again. Don't say it again. Please, no, don't say it again.
Fine.
Look, man, Look, you know where we grew up. It's nice to see somebody get something nice, even if it doesn't stay nice for long.
Fair enough. Thanks, Packers.
Thank you, Green Bay, for bringing something nice to Racine. All we had was each other back then.
It's a diamond on top of the turd pile. You gotta go put down the little ones, don't you, RamJam? About that time.
Gotta get baby RamJam in his jams.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
My dad mode is coming out.
Jams. RamJam, we appreciate you coming on the show, man. We'll have you on again because there's literally nothing else going on, and we need something to do.
Yeah, please come back. Please.
Absolutely. I'm happy to be on the show. Thanks for the invite, and definitely looking forward to doing it again soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
All right, we'll talk to you guys soon. Stay cheesy.
Stay cheesy, Dougie.
Oh, I love that. That was unprompted, too.
Well, with the departure of RamJam, it is time. 'Cause I'm cheesing my way back to you, Van.
Stop. It's too happy.
With a burning cheese inside.
It's too happy to start what we have to talk about. Let's just briefly mention it.
Okay, fine. Go ahead.
Bart Starr has passed away.
Fuck,
at
man.
85 years old.
You know what the best thing I saw come out of this? I mean, there was so much good stuff that I saw. But so Donald Driver posted this picture of him playing checkers with Bart Starr. He says, "I've lost an amazing friend. Bart was a caring, loving, and giving man. Words can't express my feelings about him. He showed me how to be a great person by the way he lived his life, always making others happy. You are my hero. Hashtag RIP Bart." Mommy Cherry, I love you.
Did you know that Bart Starr used to write Brett Favre a letter after every game?
I did know he wrote him letters. I didn't realize it was after every game.
Yep. Bart Starr was a wonderful human being. 17th round pick back in like 1950-something. He was like number 240-something overall. Like he was one of the last picks. Ended up being a five-time world champion. I don't know. You can't pour enough accolades on Bart Starr.
I heard one stat line that I thought was kind of the most amazing. He had more NFL championships than he had playoff losses.
Yeah, that sounds right.
It's not to say that he wasn't in the playoffs. He was just there winning.
Including the first 2 Super Bowls and being the MVP of both.
Yep.
I found the news out. My real estate agent texted me right away in the morning when she saw it, and I told Mrs. Van, and Mrs. Van throughout the day kept asking me, "Are you okay?" I was like, well, I'd be a lot better if Bart Starr didn't die.
Yeah, man.
Anyways, heaven has gained the brightest star with 2 R's.
With 2 R's. You're right.
Moving on to a happier topic.
The cheesiest, most Wisconsin stuff you can be.
I can't stop watching this. I've watched it about a million times, and I can't get over it. During the Bucks playoff run here.
Rest in peace, also Bucks playoffs.
As you know, Aaron Rodgers is a co-owner of the Bucks.
I do.
And David Bakhtiari is also a big Bucks fan. They're both sitting courtside at the game. David Bakhtiari gets on the big screen, and he looks into the screen and says, "Let's go!" And promptly slams a beer.
I don't know if the word slam is strong enough. Like, I've seen people slam a beer.
He just, opened up his throat, and it all was gone.
A stronger synonym for slam, like, he suplexed a beer, or he tombstoned a beer.
It was like glug, glug, gone. And then he was handed another one, which he also went glug, glug, gone. Well, he sees Aaron across the court and points to Aaron. I love Aaron Rodgers, but he picks up the beer and he goes like...
He has 3/4 of a beer first.
He's almost got his pinky up in the air as he's trying to do it. He gets to that point, and I know this point in trying to drink a beer. He's going and going. Internally, he's like, I'm hurting right now. And he closes his eyes to try to keep finishing it. That's the point where you should admit defeat and be done with it. Because as soon as you close your eyes when you're trying to chug a beer is when you're done. It's done. It's
but he
over
puts
with.
a finger up and lets us wait.
And he gives up with probably a quarter beer left.
After starting with a 3/4 beer.
Then it goes back to David Bakhtiari, who slams a third beer.
I would say David Bakhtiari drank 3 beers in the time that it took Aaron Rodgers to drink half of a beer. And it may actually be less time.
And he just is dreamy. He's a very large man, has very nice skin complexion. I have a crush.
I know you have a crush.
I watched this video probably about 500 times, and I can't get over how good it is, how Wisconsin it is. And he's from Colorado, too.
So Wisconsin.
But he's from Colorado, and he tore it up better than most Wisconsin people do.
Don't discount the other states. RamJam is originally from California, Arizona. I can't remember which one he was born in, but he grew up out there. And that family, the RamJams, you get them a couple drinks going, we RamJam, thank you, ma'am. It is, they may be from the West, but they drink Wisconsinably, and I'm down with them.
I'm just saying, if you can find me more of a man, just all around encompassing more of a man, you let me know, because right now, it's David Bakhtiari. He's the manliest man to ever have manned.
Oof. Oh, shit. I didn't even know she was in the booth today.
I'm sorry. I had to be a little quiet because I feel bad trying to do it that loud when I'm in a hotel room. I'm in Orlando, everybody, by the way. I'm down here for a work thing while we're recording. So I'm in a hotel room. I really didn't want to be that rude. You know how I am. Just always considerate of other folks.
Mm-hmm. That's why you never peed in the pool in Racine.
My mom didn't let me go to the pool in Racine.
Too much pee.
Too many needles, she always said. Anyways, the Buffalo Bills have decided to issue O.J. Simpson's number again. The number 32 will be worn by running back Centerize Perry.
I'm not going to pass a judgment, but what I want to quote here is the very, very end of this article where it says, Perry, 27, has mainly contributed on special teams during his NFL career, averaging 20.6 yards on 22 kick returns. He has rushed for 30 yards and caught 2 passes in his career.
So you're saying that they gave him the number because he's not going to see the field?
I'm just saying they gave him this number and he is not a big-time superstar or really even looking like he will be.
Can I tell you his quote here?
What's that?
Perry says, I thought it was retired, but then I was told it was available. Boom, I took it. I know the situation. I know that greatness comes with that number playing in Buffalo, but I'm willing to take anything that comes my way. I'm going into my 6th year, and I know what it takes to get in this league and stay here. With that number on my back, I know I'm doing well for my family.
There you go, Perry.
I'm doing well for my family with that 30 rushing yards and 2 passes I caught.
Compared to Simpson, 10,183 yards, 57 touchdowns.
Leading the NFL 4 times in rushings in the 9 seasons he played for the Bills.
Crazy.
But then we all know what else he did, so whatever.
I mean, if the glove don't fit, you must acquit.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Woo!
we have a couple topics here that are tied together. But before we start the one, I would just like to note that as of May 23rd, 2019, it had been exactly 10,000 days since the last Detroit Lions playoff win.
So fudging long.
So speaking of the Lions and being bad at things, turns out they're also bad at managing their finances.
What do you mean bad at it?
Well, remember Calvin Johnson, arguably one of the best wide receivers of our generation.
He made his money and he made Matt Stafford's money for him.
He sure did. Oh, my word. He retired after 2015. No one really was expecting it, whatever else. When he made that retirement, this is an article from USAtoday.com. When he made that retirement official, the Lions made him repay a portion of his $16 million signing bonus he had gotten 4 years earlier, which was in the range of, a seven-figure number. What's even crazier is Barry Sanders had to do the same in 1999 when he retired. So it seems to me the Lions are really hurting for some cash when they're going to take two of their arguably most iconic players and say, like, nah, give me that money back. Give me that back.
I mean, we're always reminded that it is a business, but I like this quote. This is something very much that I would say, and I quote Calvin here. I don't even like to talk Lions too much just because the way our relationship ended.
That's true. He's upset because, look at this too. I believe Ron Wood is the owner of the Lions, I believe, right? They want Calvin Johnson back in the Lions family, right? To be an ambassador for the Lions, whatever else. Calvin Johnson says, they already know what they got to do. The only way they're going to get me back is they put that money back in my pocket.
Yeah, man.
He said, nah, you don't do that. I don't care what they say. They can put it back, then they can have me back. That's the bottom line.
I've got this page pulled up from CBS Sports. Sean Wagner McGough. He says, I mean, it's all good. I'm not tripping. I don't feel any kind of way. Just, hey, that's what they did. Hey, it is what it is.
That sounds like a guy who is tripping.
I mean, here's the subtitle quote. Megatron isn't happy about being forced to return at least $1 million to the team when he retired.
I wouldn't be happy about that either.
Tripping, I think, is fine. When somebody's like, hey, I'm going to need that millie back, though.
The crazy thing is they did the same thing with Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders is a paid ambassador for the team. So, I don't think Barry Sanders is like, yeah, it's cool. I'll come back and just, hang out with you guys, be an advocate for the team. They have to pay him to, go to their luncheons and shit and be like, hi, I'm Barry Sanders. I was a Lions running back. Give me money now, please.
Maybe they'll give Megatron a $1 million signing bonus for being an ambassador.
I just don't know what they're getting at here. A signing bonus, to me anyways, is a bonus you get when you sign a contract.
Agreed.
And usually that's guaranteed money.
I would think it is, but Megatron had to give it back.
Which is ridiculous. That's where I say that it seems to me that the Lions are not very good at managing their finances when they're trying to squeeze Calvin Johnson out of $1 million something.
The only contracts I can think that are like that are books and music, because they front you a bunch of money up front for you to live on while you produce. But even that, I think, is guaranteed money. I don't know. I'm not exactly competent in advising any type of contract, so...
The CBS Sports article does say, if the Lions truly want to repair the damaged relationship with one of the best players in the history of their franchise, they know what they're going to have to do. And the article says, and here's where it's worth noting that the Lions will be paying long snapper Don Mulbach a base salary of $1.03 million in 2019.
I think what they're saying is, in the grand scheme, $1 million is no big deal.
I agree. I don't know if this is a common trend or what, but the Seahawks are also suing one of their ex-draft picks for a failure to repay his signing bonus.
So Malik McDowell, his story is different because he gets hurt on a recreational activity that stops him from playing for 2 years.
This is an article from SportsIllustrated.com. Arbitrator ruled this past February that he breached his contract after being injured away from the football field, and he had to forfeit his signing bonus of nearly $1.6 million.
This is tricky. So, Megatron obviously had some cash. He probably had that $1 million. This dude...
He was a 2017 draft pick. He's only been in the league for just 2 years.
That $800,000 that he got out of half of his signing bonus, because they didn't even give him the other half because he never showed up. That he probably paid off his student debts, maybe got a place to live, a car. He probably has some bills, probably need a few things to get comfortable. The thing is, if Detroit wants it back from a player who's never played $800,000, you know what they're going to get? You know what they're going to get? Have you seen the movie Dumb and Dumber? And they find that suitcase of money. He shows up, returns it to her, and she opens like, where's the money? He's like, oh, these are better than money. And he opens it, and it's a bunch of IOUs for all the stuff they bought. They bought some exotic sports car. He's like, you're going to want to hang on to that one. That was very valuable.
Is this how he's supposed to repay them? With a bunch of IOUs?
Just a suitcase full of IOUs given to the Seahawks.
We made it through a whole Gossip Girl section with no TMZ.
I'm so proud of us.
You're the one that's hooked, not me.
Okay, fine, fair enough.
This week's interesting take section here, rolling right along. So this week we want to talk about there is a new push for an 18-game regular season.
And I was trying to understand, does that mean it's going to be a 19 or 20-week season?
My understanding was it was going to be to take 2 of the preseason games, convert them to regular season games.
Oh.
Because a lot of people feel that the preseason games just are dragging things out. It's not real football. But the important thing about the preseason games, that's really where a lot of players either prove they deserve to be on the roster or they fizzle out, or that's really where your competition in your depth chart comes about. Is you can only do so much in practice. When you put the pads on against another team, that's where you really start to see how your depth chart is going to fall into place. So that's why you really don't see the first teamers play maybe a quarter or a half in the very last game, just to start to get things to gel a little bit.
Yeah.
One of the biggest concerns I've heard about it, and a lot of the players don't want to go to an 18-game schedule because it's really more impact on them. It's more potential for injury. There's health and safety concerns about kind of just more exposure to those big hits. You're having to keep your body in that physical condition, having to keep yourself essentially conditioned to play for 2 more weeks out of the year really can take a toll on your body.
I mean, the thing I see here that I think is very interesting is they're talking about they want more regular season games in conjunction with the legalized gambling that's on the way. That could be a big boon to the NFL.
Yeah, it's a money move.
It's a money move, exactly. I mean, the NFL is an entertainment business, and gambling is just another way for them to make more money.
Yeah, a lot of states are legalizing gambling now.
So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see that, but there are a lot of people out there saying we don't need to put this extra stress on these players. And I think there's ways to manage it a little bit. Like baseball, they play a gillion games, and what they do is they don't use the same starters. What if teams had 2 quarterbacks or something?
Yeah, right. The only position that's difficult in baseball to play every day is pitcher. Everybody else is standing around for like 90% of the game.
What if we just made the rosters bigger?
I mean, I guess you could add a couple more players to just as like an injury buffer. But what you just said there about like having a second quarterback, you can't, because there's only 18 games. Every game is way more important. Whereas in baseball, you have 162 games. You can drop 2 or 3 games because your star pitcher needed to sit out a little bit. You can't drop 2 or 3 games in an 18-game schedule because every game is so much more important.
It's true. I'm just saying that
I know it's true. That's why I said it.
Get the fuck out of here. What I'm trying to say is if the roster limitations were also changed, there is a little bit more flexibility in there, I'm saying. The big thing is exactly what you're saying, the stress, the wear and tear, the damage to somebody's body that you're adding by extending the season.
I have to imagine the Players Association will push back at this idea. Honestly, probably the coaches will too.
It says right now the current collective bargaining agreement expires 2020, and the NFLPA Executive Director DeMaurice Smith sent an email to all agents warning them to prepare for, and I quote, a full season work stoppage in 2021.
I don't think there'll actually be a lockout. I think that they're just saying, hey, we're serious. There's things we want.
There's one other thing in here that I think...
Weed?
The weed, yes.
Weed.
They're going to do a joint committee to study the effects.
A what committee?
A joint committee. Get out of here, Grandpa. Who let you have the fucking cough syrup again?
They made a joint committee to study marijuana. That's funny. I don't care who you are. That's funny. Anyways, yeah, I saw that they were going to make this joint committee to study the effects of players using marijuana as a pain management technique for after games. I mean, really, I think that's one of the big things that players want to talk about in the 2020 CBA is they want to talk about like loosening up those kind of penalties. All these players are like, yeah, why am I getting suspended, getting fined for smoking weed? Who cares? It's just weed. And like, I don't smoke weed, but I totally agree. Like, who the fuck cares? Smoking weed like during the week, but when you're not playing a game, doesn't really help you play the game, I don't think.
I don't know.
Maybe calms your nerves down a little bit. I don't know, but I can't imagine it would make you perform any better. Now, if weed is like drugs light, it's like drugs junior. We're talking about someone doing drugs. We're talking about heroin. We're talking about coke. We're talking about fentanyl. We're talking about like hard shit. I'm just saying weed is drugs junior, and that's all I'm saying.
I think it is interesting, and the way it was framed from my reading is that they're using this as a bargaining chip, perhaps, to say, okay, we'll give you weed if you give us 18 games.
There's obviously more topics on the table. There's more wants from both sides on the table, but that's exactly what's going down. And that's exactly what happened last time, too. And actually, I feel like I don't want to say there's a lockout, but they almost had to postpone the start of the season, right?
There was a lockout. I don't remember exactly what happened, but there was a lockout.
But I get it. I get wanting to have more football. It's a big moneymaker. But if it degrades the quality of the product, then I'm not for it. And I think that's what an 18-game schedule would do.
Yeah, I think so, too. Honestly, I don't think we need more football.
No, because it's already too much to keep up with, dude. Like, now we've got, like, sometimes we have Thursday night games. We have Friday night is high school night. Saturday is college. Sunday is NFL. Monday is NFL. That's 5 days a week. We already get football. Now you're talking Tuesday, Wednesday are the only 2 days we can't watch football, which I get it. They want football all the time. But it's a lot to keep up with. It's just like too much.
And late in the season, Saturday is an NFL day too.
Yeah, and the players hate it too. No one wants to go play on a Thursday night, play on a short week.
Yeah.
Especially when you have to travel time zones.
Yeah. I agree.
That's one of the big things the players are against. That and then the whole playing overseas thing, because it's just so bad for their bodies. They're not able to prepare properly.
I know if I were traveling for work overseas, I wouldn't like it that much.
You know, you're traveling for a week and coming back. You can't, like, get yourself back right again sitting on a plane.
No, definitely not. The longer the flight, the worse it is.
So we'll see what comes out of the CBA this upcoming year. I hope we don't get a lockout. I hope people have some reason to it. I would like to add one more topic, though, on our way out.
What's that?
I'm an avid reader of the Packers.com Insider Inbox during my lunch break at work.
I do know that.
I had a second one of my questions published this week.
On the internet? Van.
Do you want to know what my question was?
I think I did read it. Go ahead.
Yep. The question was, how do you feel about the coaches wearing shirts and ties again on the sidelines, thinking of, Lombardi era? Because I think it would add a lot of classiness and distinction, professionalism to the sidelines.
I mean, other professional sports do have that.
Hockey does. NBA does. I mean, I think it's a great idea.
Those are both indoor sports, though, generally.
Yes. The reply from Packers.com was they would love to see it, but since everything is so sponsorship driven now, you look at their jackets and they say Under Armour this, Adidas that, everything's got a logo on it. There's not a way you could do it unless your tie was a billboard. But
I mean, what if they started doing segues during the NFL productions and they're like, this suit provided by Joseph A. Banks, Brooks Brothers, Men's Warehouse. I'm just saying, there seems like if the sponsorship thing is the big to-do there why you can't get on, it seems to me that you should be able to get something going with a fancier clothing company.
I totally agree.
But here's the question, though.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like Brooks Brothers, I don't think there's any advantage for them to want to do it. I don't think that's their clientele exactly. Joseph A. Bank, I think, starts dipping into the right place. Men's Warehouse, definitely, I think.
Oh my God, look at you, Mr. Upscale, knowing what brands are what for high clothing.
I mean, I wouldn't say Men's Warehouse is high clothing, but it's just...
Well, that's fancy shit for me, man.
All right, fine, fair enough.
But I did see some other readers replied and suggested that it would be a good idea to do the shirt and tie during the throwback week when teams wear the throwback uniforms.
Oh, that would be really cool.
Even going so far as to suggest black and white Jumbotron.
What?
Make the whole thing, the whole experience be a throwback experience. It's a little far, I think. But I think if the players are going old school with it, you might as well have the coaches do it too.
I think it would be cool.
Yeah. So, I'm basically famous. We got tweeted at by Vistaprint and Packers.com answering my questions. I'm pretty much famous this week.
Yeah.
If you want, I can send you my autograph.
Would you please send it over to me?
I'll have my secretary handle it.
Is that me?
Yes.
And with that, you have been listening to Getting Cheezy with Van and Jeezy.
I'm Van.
And I am Jeezy.
Once again, we've gone legit. We have business cards. If anybody wants some to hand out to your friends, your family, anybody, let us know. New this week, we're on iHeartRadio.
That's right.
Great job, Jeezy, getting us there.
Very stringent, very strict process to get on there. Not everybody gets in. Oh, wait.
Everybody does.
You have to have a podcast.
You have to have a podcast. We're on everything. Check it. I won't even forget this time because I have the business card in front of me.
What?
We're on Twitter, SoundCloud, YouTube, Google Play Music, Facebook, Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, as well as cheesypodcast.com.
Always there, always on. Look, man, we are so legit to quit. Or something like that.
We are too legit to quit.
Oh.
And with all that legitness, we gotta go. So we'll catch you guys next week.
Okay, love you guys. Bye.